Angel Reese, which is absolutely ridiculous. And let's talk about how ridiculous it is.
Angel Reese has been accused of allegedly starting a new career as a high-priced escort, and some critics claim this marks a significant shift in her focus. Basketball, once her primary endeavor, no longer seems to be her priority. Reports suggest that Reese may have tried various strategies to outshine Caitlin Clark and claim her spot as the standout athlete, but according to these opinions, those attempts were not successful. Now, speculation around...
I don't really get to stand up for myself. I mean, I have great teammates. I have a great support system. I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me.
That Reese may have turned to other ventures as a means of sustaining herself. It's unfortunate to witness such a dramatic shift in Angel Reese's life, with some suggesting she's reached a low point. Critics claim that envy towards Caitlin Clark may have played a role in her struggles, describing this as a challenging period for Reese.
I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all.
They argue that rather than focusing on her basketball career and working hard to succeed, she's opted for a faster but potentially destructive path. Whether these claims hold true or not, it's a reminder of the importance of perseverance and staying true to one's goals. Angel Reese, once celebrated as a women's basketball star, seems to have left her sports career behind for a different path. Reports claim she's now working as a high-priced escort, supposedly to maintain her lavish lifestyle. Fans who once admired her skills on the court are surprised by...
She would do all she could in order to keep the attention off of her, right? Oh, maybe not.
This drastic shift, as it appears to have little to do with her athletic talent. Remember when Angel Reese celebrated her national championship when, she was unstoppable? Fast forward, and now she's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Her basketball career seems to be fading, replaced by actions that some see as desperate attempts to make quick cash. She's even tried to label it as empowerment or living her truth. Really, Angel? This is where you've ended up, shifting from a potential WNBA star to reportedly doing whatever it takes to cover an extravagant $888,000 rent. It's hard to imagine anyone needing that kind of lifestyle, especially when a WNBA salary doesn't come close.
Some rather risque sort of pictures of her in a parking garage. And in fact, we're talking about the whole Angel Reese being sexualized thing.
Ironically, her current path might be earning her more than basketball ever did. This isn't just a side hustle for Angel Reese. It's a full dive into a completely different world. And for what? A little extra cash to keep up with her luxury lifestyle? It's shocking to see someone once celebrated as a future WNBA star throw it all away like this. And the fans? They're furious. The same people who once admired her are now asking, what happened? She's gone from a role model to a punchline, with some even calling her out for how far she's fallen. One fan joked that it looks like she lost a fight with a pair of scissors, and honestly, it's hard not to see their...
I do think that some of this drama, and she started some of it, to be fair, got to her.
Point. It's a mess, and she's the one who created it. Instead of trying to salvage what's left of her basketball career, Angel Reese is doubling down on her new path. You'd think after all the backlash, she might step back and focus on rebuilding her reputation. But no, she's out here flaunting it, seemingly oblivious to the damage she's done to her image. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is staying focused, breaking records, and climbing to new heights in her career. While Reese chases quick cash and short-lived attention, Clark is proving why she's a force to be...
She was being sexualized, right? She's stressed out. She's being sexualized. Nothing to see here.
...reckoned with, leaving Reese to grapple with the fallout of her own poor choices. And let's not forget the absurd excuses Reese keeps throwing around. In her twisted logic, everything, her career nosedive, her declining stats, her questionable choices, is somehow Caitlin Clark's fault. Seriously? Blaming Clark for your own fall from grace is like failing a test and accusing the kid who studied harder. It's ridiculous. Clark's success has nothing to do with Reese's downfall, and pointing fingers only makes her look...
I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times.
...more out of touch. The sheer level of denial and refusal to take accountability is honestly baffling. This isn't about favoritism, race, or any other excuse Reese might be clinging to. It's about accountability. She couldn't handle the pressure of being a top-tier athlete and chose the easy way out when things got tough. Instead of focusing on her game and improving, she's turned social media into her personal complaint platform, whining about life being unfair and pointing fingers at Caitlin Clark. Meanwhile, Clark is out there smashing records, keeping her head down, and letting her talent speak for itself. That's what real athletes do. They grind, improve, and focus on their craft instead of blaming others. Reese's career stats have taken such a nosedive it's almost impressive, just not in a good way. She went from dominating the court to struggling to stay relevant, with her passion seemingly replaced by drama and excuses. The contrast is clear. While Reese spirals, Clark stays focused, becoming a fan favorite and proving her worth through action, not words. That's the difference between someone chasing greatness and someone chasing distractions. Let's dive into Angel Reese's social media presence because, frankly, it's a disaster. Instead of focusing on what little remains of her basketball career,
You said you were being sexualized, and now people are calling you out on it when you post things like this on social media.
flooding her platforms with controversial posts and nonstop complaints. It's like she's forgotten she's supposed to be a professional athlete and has gone full-time drama queen instead. Sure, she's getting attention, but for all the wrong reasons. Fans who once admired her for her talent are now jumping ship, and honestly, who can blame them? They followed her for basketball, not this over-the-top sideshow. And let's not forget when she targeted Caitlin Clark's fans. That move only made her look even more petty and insecure. Instead of using her platform to showcase her skills or rebuild her reputation, she's turning it into a space for unnecessary.
I don't really get to stand up for myself. I mean, I have great teammates. I have a great support system. I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me.
Drama. It's no wonder her support base is shrinking by the day. Angel Reese has quickly become a massive headache for the WNBA, and the league is starting to feel the repercussions of her controversial decisions. Since her latest scandal made headlines, women's basketball TV ratings have plummeted by 15%, a sharp decline that could have serious consequences for the league's growth and reputation. Sponsors are pulling out as well, understandably hesitant to associate their brands with a player whose focus seems to be more on creating drama.
Being overly sexualized. Well, what are we doing posting things like this, videos like this? Inquiring minds want to know because I'm sort of confused.
Than excelling on the court. Companies want to back athletes who embody excellence and professionalism, not someone turning their career into a social media spectacle. The WNBA thrives on promoting talent and inspiring fans, but Reese's antics are overshadowing the very values that make the league appealing. If this continues, the league risks losing its momentum, and Reese will have no one to blame but herself. It seems like you're expressing frustration with Angel Reese's recent actions and contrasting them with Caitlin Clark's achievements. It's clear you're pointing out that Reese has made decisions that are perceived by
Walking through some parking garage with some, see-through apparel on, as you may see.
by some as detracting from her professional career, while Clark is focusing on her skills and building a strong legacy in the sport. People can have different opinions on these situations, but it's important to remember that athletes, like everyone, may face challenges and make decisions that lead to varied outcomes. Everyone's journey is unique, and while some might criticize, others might empathize with the pressures that come with public life.
Death threats, I've been sexualized, I've been threatened, I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time.
And expectations. If you're focusing on their respective careers, it's worth acknowledging the hard work and dedication of both athletes in their own ways. It seems like you're expressing frustration with Angel Reese's actions and how she's handling her career. It's clear you feel her decisions have negatively impacted her reputation and potential, and that she's focusing on external factors rather than taking responsibility and working on improving. That said, It's important to recognize that athletes, like everyone else, can face a variety of personal.
However, the added animosity, beef, and physicality from Angel is definitely boosting interest as well.
And professional challenges. While public figures do face a lot of scrutiny, it's also valuable to consider the complexities of their situations before passing final judgment. Everyone has their own journey, and sometimes people make decisions that might not align with others' expectations. It's clear you feel strongly about the situation, especially when it comes to the influence public figures like Angel Reese have on young fans and aspiring athletes. The role of athletes as role models is a significant aspect of their public personas, and it can be disheartening when their actions don't align with the positive message that many expect. However, it's also important to remember that everyone's path is unique, and sometimes individuals make choices based on personal reasons that are not always fully understood by the public. While it's fair to criticize actions that may seem counterproductive to one's career or public image, it's also worth keeping in mind that people can change, grow, or learn from their experiences. At the end of the day, it's up to each person to decide what kind of legacy they want to leave behind, and in Reese's case, it's still unfolding. Whether she continues to inspire or disappoint, it's clear that her journey is one that people are watching closely. It's clear that you feel frustrated with Angel Reese's choices and the way her actions have impacted her career and reputation. It's tough when a public figure, especially one with potential, seems to veer off course, especially when there are high expectations placed on them. The public often holds athletes to a higher standard because of their influence on young fans, and it's understandable that people feel let down when those standards aren't met. However, it's also worth acknowledging that athletes, like anyone else, face challenges and make decisions based on their own experiences and pressures. While it may seem like a dramatic fall from grace, sometimes the most important thing is learning from mistakes and finding a way to rebuild, even if it takes time. The road to redemption can be long and difficult, but every individual has the opportunity to reshape their path, whether it's in the spotlight or away from it. How Reese decides to move forward will ultimately define what comes next for her.